Brothers, the world is not what it was. The center did not hold. The walls that once shielded our people have been breached, not by catapults or armies, but by rot. And if you're hearing these words, it means you've seen it. You've awakened. You've opened your eyes to the disorder around you, the confusion, the deceit, the inversion of all that once made men strong and free. But waking up is only the first step. What comes next is harder. Because the moment a man wakes up, he is filled with fire. He sees the corruption, the desecration, the cowardice, and he wants to act. He wants to shout, to strike, to run into the storm with his fists raised and his teeth bared. That's the trap. The enemy is not afraid of your anger. They want it. They plan for it. They goad you towards it. Because the angry man is a reactive man. And a reactive man is easy to predict, easy to control, easy to destroy. They want you twitching at every headline, lashing out in the open, burning your energy in public fits of righteousness that go nowhere. Because every blow you throw in rage is one less blow you land with purpose. And worse, the enemy feeds your fury. The institutions that claim to be on your side whisper a different poison. Do nothing. Be patient. Trust the process. Wait for the next vote, the next leader, the next sign. But that's not patience. That's surrender. Understand this. You are being offered two poisons. One burns fast and hot. The other is slow and sweet. Both will kill you. But there is another way. Restraint. Not submission, not inaction, not cowardice. Restraint is the discipline to act when the time is right, not when your enemies provoke you. It is the posture of a king standing atop the walls of his fortress, watching the chaos below, knowing that to leap too soon is to die. Knowing that the war is won not by fury, but by timing. Restraint is the unsung strength of the higher man, the one who does not choose to draw his sword until it is time. The one who is calm not because he lacks fire, but because he has mastered it. That is who you must become. Not a pawn, not a panicked soldier, not a tamed beast, but a man who watches, waits, builds, and strikes only when the blow will end the war. Modernity wants your anger, but it does not want your righteous anger. It does not fear honor or conviction, it fears clarity. So it tries to bury it. It feeds you distractions, half-truths, staged outrage, and endless cycles of manufactured crisis. Not to inform you, but to provoke you. The goal is simple. To keep you reacting, not leading. A man in a reactive state is no threat, he is noise. He flails at shadows, spends his strength on illusions, and burns out before he ever learns how to aim. Look around. How many men are trapped in this cycle, screaming into screens, waging keyboard crusades, falling into traps carefully set by the very platforms they depend on. They speak truth, yes, but they do so on enemy ground, using enemy tools under enemy terms. And so their truth becomes ammunition for their own destruction. This is not a coincidence. They want you predictable. Predictable men are easy to watch, easy to provoke, easy to crush. Even the so-called truth tellers, the influencers who sound like they're on your side, often serve the enemy's design. Some mean well, but their urgency is a poison. Others are bought and paid for, placed precisely to lure men like you into their trap. Understand this. They don't fear your rage. They expect it. They engineer it. And when it explodes, they will have the cameras ready, the laws written, and the prisons built. But worst of all, the devouring mother smiles. Because to her, your outrage is proof. Proof that men are violent, unstable, unfit to rule. And every time you lash out without aim, you help justify your chains. This is the war. To turn warriors into reactionaries, then label them monsters. But hear me, brothers, you are not a beast. You are not their toy. Your rage is not your enemy, but your reactivity is. Do not fight on their schedule. Do not speak on their terms. Do not burn your strength for their entertainment. Your fire must be tamed, not extinguished. That is the difference between the angry man and the king. Modernity lies about power. It tells you power is loud, constant, online, that it looks like rage, that it feels like protest, that it's measured by how fast you speak, how often you post, and how furiously you react. But that's not power, that's panic. Real power is quiet, dangerous, but controlled. The strongest man in the room does not need to speak. He does not need to convince you of his strength. The king does not announce himself. He stands still, and others adjust. Restraint is strength. It is the man behind the wall, watching the horde gather. Not because he is afraid, but because he's calculating. The fool throws himself at the gate to prove his courage. The king waits until the moment is right, and then opens it from the inside. This is what they fear. A man who will not be baited. They will call you a coward for waiting, weak for not charging. They'll use your values against you, trying to shame you into sacrificing your men, your tribe, your strength, on their terms. They will stage a crisis and demand your loyalty. They will stage a humiliation and demand your outrage. They will stage a martyr and demand your blood. Don't fall for it. Restraint is not surrender. It is the denial of their script. It is refusing the battle they choreographed. It is choosing the time, the place, and the reason yourself. The lion does not chase every barking dog. The general does not answer every provocation. The king does not ride out for every insult. Even the gods taught us this. The hammer of Thor was not swung at every slight. The eye of the Allfather saw many things, but he chose when to act. And when he rode as the Dark Rider, it was not at the sound of the first insult, but at the final breaking of the world. That is restraint. It is not passivity, it is stored force, held fire, the weight of justice behind a closed fist. It is the posture of a man who has nothing to prove, but everything to protect. Let the world mistake your silence for surrender. Let them think you are tame. And when the time comes, you will teach them otherwise. You will hear it often on every platform, in every sermon, from every safe institutional mouth. Turn the other cheek, wait, pray, obey. But this is not restraint, this is pacification. This is the lie of the tamed dog, confused for the self-command of a lion. Institutions, governments, churches, media, they do not live by this creed themselves. They do not turn their own cheeks. They act with brutal precision when their interests are threatened. They simply do not want you to act. They want you docile, you passive, you harmless. They will quote your own values against you to keep you inert. Love your enemy, forgive, be the bigger man. What they mean is do nothing. Let the world rot. Let your sons die. Just be good and quiet while it happens. But we reject their false binary. You are not choosing between rage and surrender. You are choosing another path, controlled danger, directed fire. Restraint is not submission, it is potential. A man who could destroy but chooses not to is not weak, he is moral. Because morality, real morality, is not absence of force. It is force held in service of something higher. To be truly virtuous is to be dangerous and choose peace. To be truly just is to be feared and still wait. The modern world despises that kind of man because he cannot be predicted, because he cannot be guilted, because he cannot be used. They will call you bitter, they will call you angry. But what they truly fear is that you have stopped believing them, that you are no longer harmless, that you are not acting out of guilt or shame or virtue signaling submission, but out of sovereignty. Let them call your restraint weakness. Let them call your patience cowardice. We know what you are. You are the blade that has chosen not to cut. Yet. You are not alone. The enemy wants you to believe you are, that no one sees what you see, that no one feels what you feel, that to act or even to think differently is isolation, madness. But the warband watches. Other men are waking up, slowly, quietly, and with clenched fists. But only those who master themselves can lead. Only those who restrain themselves will be worthy of trust when the time comes. Accept the battlefield you have, not the battlefield you want. Do not waste your warriors on a battle chosen by the enemy. They will shame you, mock you, try to guilt you into moving too early. They will call you coward for not charging into their ambush. But the man who charges alone dies alone, and the man who waits too long watches his people fall. Restraint is not permanent inaction. It is the silence before the war cry. It is the stillness before the charge. It is a countdown, a gathering storm. This time must not be wasted. This is your trial, your forge. You must become the higher man now, not later. You must gather your strength, train your sons, form your tribe. We are not waiting for a savior. That lie was told to keep you docile. There is no Messiah, only men. And the ones who act today, quietly, strategically, without recognition, will prepare the world that our sons will inherit. They will be the kings. They will raise the temples. But only if we build the scaffolding now with no promise of reward. No fame, no thanks, no monument. If you crave glory, you will fail. If you need applause, you are not ready. This era offers no stage, only sacrifice. And still we serve. Because this is what the higher man does. Because the tribe depends on men who act not for applause, but for legacy. The Mannerbunde will not form around those who shout the loudest. It will form around men who radiate controlled danger. Men who walk silently with a storm in their heart. So let the world mistake your silence for fear. Let them confuse your stillness for doubt. They will learn. The warband is watching, and it's almost time. Restraint is not a pose. It is not an aesthetic. It is a crucible, and you will be tested. You will be mocked for your calm, accused of cowardice, taunted for your silence. They will say do something, but they don't mean build something. They mean react. They mean implode. They want you to be loud and sloppy, because then you can be dismissed. You will feel the pressure to lash out, to prove your strength, to speak when you should be listening, to fight a war you're not ready for, to lead before you are worthy. But you must endure. You are not a slave to the world's tempo. You are forging your own. Every moment you hold the line, you are gathering force. Every insult you swallow without flinching, you are sharpening your blade. Every day you choose the long path over the quick fix, you are becoming a man that chaos fears. Restraint is not inaction, it's preparation. A man who cannot be baited cannot be beaten. A man who controls his fire will know when to unleash it. And when the day comes, he will not flail blindly. He will strike like thunder. They will not see you coming because they thought you were tamed, because they thought you were waiting for permission. But you were waiting for your moment. And when it comes, there will be no hesitation, no panic, only the higher man stepping forward at last. Before a king commands a nation, he must learn to command himself. Before a warrior leads men into battle, he masters the battlefield within. This is restraint, not cowardice, not surrender. It is the hidden furnace where kings are forged. It is the silence before the charge. It is the unflinching gaze from the wall, watching the enemy scream in vain. You do not owe your enemies your rage. You do not owe the world your impulsive fire. You owe your sons your discipline. You owe your brothers your strength. You owe your ancestors your patience. Restraint is the virtue of men who build legacies they will never see. Men who hold the line, knowing the reward is not glory but continuity. Men who accept that their names may be forgotten, but their discipline will echo in the cathedrals their sons complete. We are not pacified. We are not docile. We are not harmless. We are building. And when the time comes, we will act, not with desperation, but with precision. Let them mistake your silence for surrender. Let them mock your restraint as weakness. Let them believe the lion is asleep. They will learn. Until next time.